In this video, I'm going to show you the most popular parking lot striping services and exactly how much to charge for each of them. I'm then going to walk you through exactly how to quote these from the computer and how to turn the quote into an estimate. And lastly, I'm going to give you the best pricing tips to be as profitable as possible with this service. But if you're looking to start a parking lot striping business and you're not sure what equipment to get, what kind of paint to use, how to do the job, how to price the job, or how to get a bunch of customers for this particular service, check out the How to Stripe course that I built with my buddy Chris. It'll be the first link in the comment section and the description. And we're doing a super special deal for the first people to purchase it. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. But without further ado, let's go and jump into the video. First and foremost, we're going to be jumping into the most popular services. Now, for this demonstration, I will be using QuoteIQ. If you guys haven't checked out QuoteIQ, I'll leave it second link in the comment section and the description. You can save 50% when you subscribe through myquoteiq.com, which I'll leave a link for. But we're going to be going through the services. I'm going to show you guys what the pricing is for these services, and then we're actually going to create our estimate. So first and foremost, I put linear lines up here, but in parking lots, a lot of times there are some long linear lines that need to be measured, and that's one of the benefits to using a software like QuoteIQ. I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can measure those linear lines in today's video. Linear lines, we are just going to do between like $1 to $1.50 per linear foot, and so we have linear lines. $1 is our price range. Our service description is repaint linear lines, and then for our the way we're going to charge it based on linear footage. Within QuoteIQ, you have the option to charge a couple different ways because we have our map measuring tool, which I'm going to show you guys here in just a bit. But you can charge by the square foot price, you could charge by a linear foot price, or by a per quantity price. So first and foremost, we have our linear lines. The next one we have is our parking line restripe. This is probably one of the biggest things that you're going to be asked to give quotes on whenever you're doing a parking lot restripe. So our price for parking line restriping is going to be $11. Now, this can kind of range depending on how faded these lines actually are, because in some cases you might have to paint them twice. And just to give you guys reference, I live in Louisiana. It's not a huge city that we live in either. So some of these prices may be on the lower end compared to my guys that live out in like California or New York area. So take all of these prices with a grain of salt. In order to really determine your pricing, you really need to have a good idea of what your costs are for your business, which within QuoteIQ, we actually have a cost calculator, so you guys can figure out what you need to be charging per hour. But I'm just going to give you guys a good number, a good baseline that you can kind of start from, and then take that information with a grain of salt and adapt it based on where you're currently at within your business. So parking line restripe is going to be the most popular service that we offer. Like I said, we're going to do $11 a line for this particular example. And restripe parking lines with fresh paint is our service description. And we're going to choose a per quantity because basically we're just going to count up the lines, and then QuoteIQ is going to do the multiplication for us. So we have our linear lines, we have our parking line restripes, and then we have our wheel stops. So for anybody who's parked somewhere, you know that they got that like brick thing, that, I don't know, cement thing that kind of blocks you from keeping on going. That is our wheel stop. We are going to charge $20 to repaint these wheel stops if in the case that they need to be painted. Sometimes they're not painted at all, but it's good to have the service in there in case they do have some wheel stops that are painted. And this price can vary a bit depending on how severe the paint is on the current wheel stops. If it's really bad, if it's chipping all over the place, if it's going to take a ton of prep work in order to get these repainted, then you're probably going to want to charge a little bit more. But for this case, we're going to do $20, and the service description, prep and paint wheel stops. Once again, it's a per quantity. We're going to count up the quantity. QuoteIQ is going to do the math on it. And so that is our wheel stop service. Repainting wheel stop service. The next one is going to be our handicap restripe. As you guys know, handicaps are in every parking lot. It's an ADA regulation. And if you don't know all of the ADA regulations, you're going to want to check out the course. I don't know a ton about ADA, I'll be honest with you guys, but it's extremely important because if the ADA, markings are ever wrong, it can come back on the company that you're doing the job for, and they can be fined, and there could be legal implications, things of that nature. So you're going to want to make sure that you're up to date with all of that verbiage. So check out the How to Stripe course down below. I would say the cost of the course could pay for, anything that could ever go wrong with regards to ADA. But handicap restripe, we are going to charge $50 per handicap restripe. That's going to include both the lines on each side as well as that handicap logo in the middle. So restripe lines and handicap logo, we're going to change this to a period for our service description. And then we're going to also do a per quantity. Now, one thing that I've noticed with a lot of people that, use Quote IQ. Some people use too long of service descriptions. Like for this, I like to keep it very simple because it's not a very complicated service that we're offering here. We're just basically repainting, or the services that we're talking about is just repainting. So I don't like to get too extraneous with my service descriptions. However, there's enough information there for them to know exactly what I'm talking about. So just something to keep in mind whenever you're putting in your service descriptions. The next one is the parallel lines. So you guys will see like the parking lot lines are, this way, and then the other lines will be sideways. And this is basically what our parallel lines are. Typically, they're no more than about like 5 feet. And so we're going to do about $1 a foot on this. And so it's going to be $5 per parallel line. And I'm going to show you guys whenever we quote that out, what those look like. And, we're going to count them up. Another per quantity measurement, and then Quote IQ is going to do the rest. So parallel lines, color changes is another thing that you might not even consider before doing a parking lot striping job. Having to change the color from yellow to blue is going to incur cost. You're going to have materials that are needed for that. You're going to have time and labor in order to clean everything and get it ready for another color. So on every job where we're doing multiple colors, however many colors we have to do, that's how many color changes we do. So if we're doing 2 colors, we're doing one color change, and the price for that is going to be $100, basically to cover the labor and materials to swap the paint colors out. So something you might not have considered, something we definitely didn't consider early on whenever we first started, but then we realized how much time and effort it really took to change those colors out. And now we just add on $100 to every single job to cover that cost. The next one that we're going to be looking at is directional arrows. So on a lot of parking lots, you guys will see the directional arrows either coming out of the parking lot, coming into the parking lot. And so for these directional arrows, we're going to charge $15 per arrow, and that includes taping off and repainting the directional arrows. Another per quantity measurement. We're going to count them. Quote IQ is going to multiply it out, and we're going to come up with a price for it. So we're coming down to the end. I think we have our last 2 services here. The next one is concrete bases. So if you guys have ever been in parking lots, you'll notice that the big light poles sometimes will have a concrete base on them. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're medium, sometimes they're actually really big. So this price can actually fluctuate depending. But just use your discretion with regards to how big it is, how much time it's going to take. For this particular service example, we're going to do $30 for a small base, and it's going to be to repaint the concrete bases at the bottom of the light pole. So there you go, another per quantity measurement, and that is that concrete base repainting. Something that you guys might not have thought, you could even upcharge for, but basically everything we're going to be painting is something that we can sell to the customer. So the last one that we're going to look at here is our curbing restripe. So for curbing restripe, very similar to the first one we looked at, which was the linear line restripe. We're going to charge it based on a linear footage measurement, which, like I said, really helps to have a tool like Quote IQ where you can map everything out. But for the curbing restripe, we're going to do $1 a linear foot, and curbing restripe is pretty straightforward. I didn't even add a service description. And for this one, we're going to select the linear footage measurement. So that is all of our different services that we're going to be offering: linear lines, parking line, restripe, wheel stops, handicap restripe, parallel lines, color change, directional arrows, concrete bases, and curbing restripe. So this is 9 different things that we're going to be offering in this particular estimate. I would say that these are some of the most popular things. There are some other things that you can upcharge for. There are other things that companies might ask you to do when it comes to parking lot striping. However, like I said, I just want to cover the most important things for this video. And whenever we do our quote, which is what we're about to do, you guys are going to see some of these examples pop up. So we're going to go ahead and create an estimate here. As I mentioned, my buddy Chris has landed like 30 Waffle Houses across the state of Oklahoma, which is part of the marketing that he goes through in the How to Stripe course, which is the first link in the comment section and the description. So we're going to quote a Waffle House to kind of pay homage to that. So within Quote IQ, you get the opportunity to pick your estimate type. For this one, we're just going to do a standard estimate, but the options estimates are also really cool. This allows you the ability to quote everything on the job and then have the customer actually pick what things they want to have done at the property. So actually for this example, we will use the options estimate, and we'll create an options estimate. Now, none of this other information is just auto-filled from the contact that we created. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and put together our estimate. So first and foremost, we have our linear lines. Now, put this one at the top because I really want to show you guys the map view so we can start counting. So we're actually going to do parking line restripe first, but we're going to use the map view right here in order to get our eyes on the property. And since we're doing parking line restripe, it's going to give us our aerial view. I'm going to zoom in a bit. and we're going to start counting our lines. So with parking lot quoting, I would highly recommend that you guys go in person, because sometimes the Google images are not the most up to date, and in which case you could be quoting things that, aren't necessarily on the property, or maybe they have new additions, or maybe they've restructured how the lines are laid out since the last time. So for all parking lot striping quotes, I would recommend going in person. However, when you're having to do long linear footage measurements, it really helps have a tool like QuoteIQ, which is what I'm going to show you guys here in a second. So in a pinch, though, we have quoted jobs like this, from a satellite view, but most case scenario, we're going to go in person and check it out. So first and foremost, we're going to count the lines. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. These are all handicaps. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we're going to count 23 lines on this. So we are going to pop back over into our quote, and we're going to pop in 23 lines. So for this, it's a per quantity measurement. So all we're going to do is pop in our number of units here, 23. It's going to multiply 23 times 11, which is going to give us our price of $253. The next thing that we're going to look at is our wheel stops. So we're going to pop back in here and see if there are any wheel stops that are painted. So as you guys can see, there's no wheel stops along this back line, but there are 2 wheel stops here for the handicap. So we will add in 2 wheel stops to be repainted. So wheel stops, number of units, 2. That's $40 because we're doing $20 a wheel stop. And if it's only 2, you could bump it up. We're going to do 25, and then we'll do 25 per. Add a little extra money on top, okay? Because I'm not sure exactly what condition those are in, things of that nature. So we're going to bump it up a little bit. This parking lot doesn't look like it was the best maintained. And as I told you guys, the more prep work you have to do, the higher you're really going to want to charge. So the next one we're going to look at is our handicap restripe. We already know that they have 2 handicaps right here. So we have 1 handicap here, 1, 2 lines with the logo, another handicap here, 1 and 2 lines with the logo. So we're going to add in 2 handicaps. And that should be $100 right there. All right, sweet. Now let's count our parallel lines. So as I said, you guys, there's typically some parallel lines. So as you guys can see, parallel lines here and then parallel lines here. So we're going to zoom in a bit to give you guys a better look at this, and then we'll come back out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this one. So 5 and 6 is 11. So we're going to pop back out, and then we'll plug in 11 parallel lines. So boom, number of units is 11, $55 on parallel lines. Color change, we know that they have blue and yellow. I noticed that behind the handicap was white. We'd probably just tell them, hey, we're going to recolor it. It's going to be yellow or it's going to be blue, because then we'd have to do another color change. So once again, that probably goes to the ADA regulations. So you guys definitely look at those before you take my word for it. I just know that we've done yellow backstops in the past, or we've done blue and then yellow handicaps. So in order to save them a little bit of money, we'll just say, hey, we're going to change the box, the color of the box on the handicap logo. So 1 color change on this one, because we're going to go from yellow to blue. And then let's go ahead and count our directional arrows. So we can go ahead and fill that in. Pop back in here. Directional arrows, 1, 2 in the front, 3, 4 in the back. So we got 4 directional arrows. So we'll scroll down. Directional arrows times $15. 4 times 15 is 60. And then we'll say concrete bases. I don't think I saw any. I'll be honest with you guys. But just to give you an example, the concrete base would probably be around a light pole like this one. So we'll zoom in a little bit, see if we can see a light pole. I don't see one, so we won't do any concrete bases. So we'll leave that out. Now, as I mentioned before, this is the linear measurement. On this particular parking lot, there wouldn't be any real need for a linear measurement, but let's see if I can find one that would need one. Like, let's say there was a big line running in the middle of this parking lot, then we'd have to go ahead and take out our linear foot measurement. But as you guys can see in just these couple of parking lots we're taking a look at, like every single wheel stop on this one is painted yellow. So that would be a ton of extra money there for those particular wheel stops. For this one, you could see it's a lot more faded. And then, this is a curbing price here. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the curbing price. I just wanted to show you guys what, those would look like if, okay, so here's like a linear foot measurement. So we would measure this if we were trying to get some linear footage. But we'll pop back out. So we did color change, directional arrows, no concrete bases, and let's say that there was a curbing restripe. It kind of looked like this curb was painted to me a little bit, at least over here. So I'll just show you guys like what this would look like. So we're gonna pop in here. We'll zoom in a bit, and let's just say that this curb was painted. We're gonna give them a price to repaint this. So we're gonna add a point here, add a point, and we're just gonna basically measure out what this curve would be right here. Boom, we'll come to here. And we just say, hey, you guys don't really have any wheel stops. We recommend, you could say this. We recommend you guys have this whole curb repainted yellow just to kind of, accentuate it a bit more. In which case, if they're like, yeah, we want this whole curb painted yellow so it's more visible to the customer, then we got an estimate for it right here. So we're going to click the plus icon. It's then going to do the math on the curbing restripe. So we put in 205 linear foot worth of curbing to be restriped. And so there you go. Now that's in there. So here we have everything that we need. There was no linear lines. We have our parking line restripe, our wheel stops, our handicap restripe, parallel lines, color change, directional arrows. We got everything in here. So we're going to click next, and this is going to take us into the estimate preview screen. And in here, we're going to get a visual on everything that we've included within this estimate. So as you guys can see, looks pretty good. The cost of this particular Waffle House is going to be $823, which sounds about right for a Waffle House in this area. I will say sometimes they could be a bit, stingy on what they, want to pay. But anyway, you got to bid them to get them. So $823 is going to be our price. From here, we can actually add a footer into the estimate. We can add in terms and conditions. I don't have Chris's terms and conditions in here, but Chris actually has specific terms and conditions to parking lot striping, which kind of makes the owner aware of, all the different things on the commercial property that Chris is liable for, all the things that they're liable for, and everything that he's not liable for. So highly recommend you guys have a good set of terms and conditions that kind of put into place for the person you're going to be doing the job, just to protect you in the instance that, let's say that they got mad that you didn't do something that they thought should be included. Well, you could say, hey, look, when you accepted the estimate, you accepted the terms and conditions, and within there, it stated blah, 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 whatever the case may be. So here we have a preview of what our estimate's going to look like. We're going to click continue. I'm going to copy this link, and then I'm going to show you guys exactly what this options estimate looks like right here. So this is going to go ahead and load for us. We're going to scroll down. So this is our estimate to Waffle House. When it comes to the estimate total, we're not going to have a number here because the customer is then going to have to select which ones they want. So as you guys can see, we have our parking line restripe. They're like, oh yeah, we do want to get the wheel stops done. We want to get the handicaps restriped, the parallel lines. They have to get the color change. So that really, probably doesn't make for a good options estimate. That one should be mandatory. We're just going to mark this one off right here. Boom. Perfect. $823.50 is our total. We're going to click accept here, and then Waffle House is going to sign it. And then by accepting, I agree to the terms and conditions. Yes, Waffle House accepts the estimate. Then we're going to be notified that Waffle House accepted it, so that way we can go ahead and get them on the schedule. So that's pretty much everything you guys need to know with regards to quoting parking lot striping for commercial properties. Of course, all parking lot striping is going to be for commercial properties. But if you guys haven't, check out the first link in the comment section and the description. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button on it, comment down below stripe, and I'll hashtag you a real one. But my name is Justin. This is Forever Self-Employed. And until next time, hustle hard, get that money, baby. Peace.